Over the years, mankind has asked multiple important questions like, where did the flood occur? Did the Hanging Gardens of Babylon even exist? Which game is better, Dark Souls 2 or Bloodborne? Why do people keep putting on that Sonic 2 medallion like it's confirmed to be a cursed object? But one question I can probably answer today is, do Redditors hate the outdoors? Yes, they do.
Oh, okay, maybe not all Redditors, since there is a decent chunk of outdoor-related subreddits that are pretty useful for gathering opinions on gear or general information. Another thing to add is that even if Redditors prefer their crusty gaming keyboards and cat earphones over the sweet scent of dandelions, you'd be hard-pressed to find them publicly admitting it. But if you're someone like me and your main hobby is to cover terrible Reddit posts, you're bound to come across a handful of posts that really make you think how little sunlight some of these users get. So enough chit-chat, let's dive into the small smorgasbord of terrible Reddit posts relating to the outdoors. Let's start off with the most famous post around hating the outdoors that I've somehow not seen ever discussed on YouTube. From r/agender, I started crying when I'm taken out of densely populated areas. Greetings, I'm a 19-year-old agender human. I've lived in Manhattan my entire life and I really have no desire to leave. Since I was young, when I've been taken to rural/suburban areas, I've started crying. There's something about them that makes me really hate them. They feel so boring and lonely, and whenever I'm there, I got worried that I'm never going to be able to leave, or sad because I know they exist. Even now that I'm an adult, I just start crying or panicking when I'm there. I can't for the life of me understand why anyone would ever post such a depressing and pitiful opinion such as this. I think we've all been in environments that we really don't find enjoyable, but this individual is breaking down over being in any rural or suburban area. I think this Redditor needs some outdoor exposure therapy because this is a very trivial grievance turned into something extreme that's definitely not healthy mentally or physically. Okay, on to our next post from a very familiar subreddit if you're a fan of this channel, r/fcars. Haven't seen anyone here talk about this yet. Pretty much every time I go outside in summer, I cannot really look anywhere without getting blinded by some parked car, except for the ground maybe. This is actively making my life noticeably worse. It stops when I am in nature, but I have to get there first. Dude, the reason no one talks about this because this is so trivial. Yes, you can get temporarily blinded from cars and buildings in the sun, but you literally need to take 2 more steps until it isn't a problem anymore. The only way I can see this ever being a problem is that you're directly staring at the reflection, or you're trying to get a picture to complain about it on Reddit. I'm sorry, but I doubt this one thing makes your life noticeably worse, and it honestly feels like you're using this as an excuse not to go outside. But hey, that's just a theory. A Reddit theory. Next post I've got is from r/0covid community, a subreddit I'm very likely to cover in the future because this one subreddit has created so much unneeded anxiety that it's pretty much turned these users into mole people. Case in point, how long until it's no longer safe to exit your house? I don't know what to say, it just feels like things are getting worse and not improving. The widespread acceptance of COVID and the complete disregard for anyone who is high risk is staggering. It feels like going outside your house is like stepping on a minefield, evading COVID every single step you make. You can't go anywhere anymore without there being potential exposure. The only thing I can think of that brings me peace is hiking 100 miles away from civilization. But even then, I have to worry about the animal vector for transmission since it's widespread in animals. Yes, you heard them correctly. This Redditor is legit worried about going outside because a bird or rabbit might give him COVID. Let me tell you, as a guy who's part of a family that is definitely considered immunocompromised, this is fucking laughable. There's not a shred of evidence that animals are causing widespread outbreaks. This goes to show you Reddit echo chambers are literally damaging people's psyches and their daily routines. I honestly pity these poor souls who've gotten wrapped up in this subreddit for the rest of their lives. Okay, enough of this depressing slop. Time to move on to a terrible hypothetical. Okay, here it is. $5 million, but you have to stay outside for 24 hours. It's a classical winter day. The temperature is slightly freezing, -1 degree Celsius or 30 degrees Fahrenheit. You get the following offer. In normal winter clothes, a sweater, a good winter coat, and some gloves, you will have to go outside and stay outside for 24 hours no matter what happens. And the rest of the rules is basically you can't have a shelter or fire. So you literally have to stand outside in warm winter clothes on a typical winter day and you get $5 million. This is too easy. Of course it isn't going to be all sunshine and rainbows, but for $5 million, all you have to do is walk for that entire time, and you wouldn't get frostbite in a million years. This isn't challenging whatsoever, unless you're a Redditor who needs a constant 82 degrees to survive in your enclosure. Even with his clarification later on in the post, it's still a terrible hypothetical because you literally give us the solution. You just lounge around until the 24 hours is up. Dude, you better cough up that $5 million quick. I'm in the middle of designing a replica of the Spencer Mansion as we speak. Traps and all. Okay, speaking of houses, my next post is going to take us to suburbia. From r/cozy places, suburbia ain't so bad. You may be thinking why I included some random wholesome post of some dudes just chilling in their backyard. Well, let me reveal the rest of this post screenshot. Right, we've had enough. This post has only been up for 4 hours, and the comments are the most toxic we've ever seen on this sub. We debated removing the whole post because that's not fair to OP, so we're locking the comments section instead. Yes, you heard that correct. Redditors were so butt mad over a guy enjoying his backyard, the mods had to lock the entire comment section. In the comment section, you'll see a lot of nonsense, like, the lights are going to blind your neighbors, or the movie is likely too loud, with zero evidence besides their idiotic hunches. I literally don't even see any large outdoor speaker set, and it's obviously still light out. Another thing worth mentioning is, since we're just grasping at straws, maybe, just maybe, he asked his neighbors for permission before airing the movie. This whole comment section is just coping over the fact that some Redditor dared enjoy his suburban backyard. Pretty pathetic behavior. If this doesn't clue you in on how much Redditors hate the outdoors, well, buckle up because r/unpopular opinion and other similar subreddits have a treasure trove of Redditors voicing some god-awful opinions in exchange for updates. I hate nature. Nature sucks. It's gross. It's boring, and it makes my clothes smell bad. I wish they would elaborate on how nature makes your clothes smell bad. Are we talking about smoke from campfires, lilac fields, or not putting on deodorant? Anyway, I don't fucking care about connecting to my roots. Nature is a cruel force that is not pretty or amazing. It's terrifying and ruthless. Naturalists are delusional to think that nature is beautiful. It's a horrible dictator that kills and eats anything in its path. Oh brother, not all outdoor areas are instant death zones with mountain lions. Believe me, I'm Idahoan. I know what's treacherous and not. This feels like needlessly worrying over any sun rays hitting your skin. Also, I would rather not have to deal with getting mauled by a feral dog. I really want to know where this poor schmuck lives, where feral dogs are the first danger you worry about. Call me stupid or something, but I'd rather encounter a feral dog than a moose or a puma while on a hike. If they're actually being genuine about not getting mauled by some rabid dog packs roaming the forest, my advice is just to get some dog spray and you'll be okay. Most outdoor activities suck. I constantly hear the line, "I just love being outside" from so many people both online and IRL. Whenever I ask these people what they do outside, it's followed by the most boring shit imaginable. I go walking. We walk every day. I jog. Slightly more intense than walking. Bird watching. You sit and stare but outside instead of indoors. Does this guy actually not know that if you go outside, you have a greater chance of spotting birds than looking outside of a window? I can't think of a single instance of spotting a bald eagle outside my window. Fishing. You sit and do nothing. Hiking. Cool. Walking with extra steps. Dude, you literally sound like you don't like walking at all. Geocaching. A scavenger hunt that's not even difficult. We did that as kids. I set up my hammock by the creek, so you rot in a hammock doing nothing instead of rotting in bed and doing nothing. That's some projection, dude. I tan at the pool, so you sit near some water and do fuck all. You don't even go in the water. How is that fun? People describe their outdoor activities like they're already in a retirement home begging for enrichment. When they're in college, post-grad, or in their 30s. That or they're just doing the same activities they were doing indoors. Reading, typing on their laptop, knitting, laying down, sitting, watching, etc. But outside instead. I don't think this Redditor can comprehend it's not the destination, it's the journey. You might find this shocking, but people actually love the scent and scenery of the outdoors and use fishing, hiking, and camping as excuses to get out of their daily grind and appreciate life in a cozy area. I doubt you can remember all the times you were sitting on your couch digging into a bag of potato chips, but for me, I can remember a ton of times plotting my butt on the grass and eating a jerky stick during a long, arduous hike. And if seeing Wubba Bubba go on an intense hike interests you, make sure you check out my hiking video from last year. Is having a picnic going to save you? I too enjoy eating my food in less sanitary locations and fighting bugs for my food. Dude, you're a Redditor. Your mousepad is definitely not cleaner than dirt. I also bet there's more roaches in your laptop than the ants around a picnic bench. It feels like most people who say this are simply coping because they don't actually like outdoor activities, but don't want the judgment that follows that, so they do the barest minimum outdoor activity possible. Nice feature-length projection. Just because someone doesn't dislike the outdoors as much as you do, doesn't mean they're the real ones coping. This entire post is so terrible it makes me hope that this is just some elaborate joke. This is a sad way to look at other people's hobbies. The outdoors are over-worshipped and the outdoors personality trope is annoying. Okay, at first glance and depending on my mood, I can honestly agree. I've seen my share of cringy outdoor personalities that rock overpriced Patagonia merch and make it embarrassing to find deeper meaning with outdoor activities. But that goes for just about any hobby like guns, video games, cooking, anime, etc. Honestly, not a completely unpopular opinion from the get-go. I don't want to jump the gun, but this seems like we're about to have a great deeper discussion on our hands, right? Bugs, diseases, dead things, poop everywhere. The damage that the sun does to our skin. Most bodies of water have lots of poop, diseases, and parasites in them. Bro, no one's actively drinking brown ponds or shoveling roadkill into their mouths. If you're really concerned about diseases, just wear DEET, check for ticks every so often, and don't drink or swim in questionable water. It's really not that difficult. Lastly, is this guy related to Michael Jackson or something, because he has some type of fixation with doo-doo feces?
There was doo-doo feces thrown all over the walls, the floor, the ceiling, and it stunk so bad.
Okay, buckle up again because this is the last post and I'm going to read it in full before I give my thoughts on it. Mega cities are more beautiful and rare sights than any natural scenery on Earth. I don't get the hype on TikToks when people travel to like Switzerland or Hawaii and show pictures of lush mountains and the ocean, and people talk about how that's so rare nowadays, and how cities they live in are ugly in the comments because there's no trees or greenery. There are plenty of mountains everywhere. There are also plenty of coastlines everywhere. You can see a sunset anywhere on Earth. There are hundreds of billions of trees. You know what's a truly rare scene in the world? A cityscape and skyline like Manhattan or Shanghai. You could probably count on one hand how many specific places you have been to in the world with a view like that. Don't get me wrong, Hawaii is pretty. But there's hundreds of places on Earth that look like Hawaii. Same with Switzerland, same with almost any natural beauty. What is truly rare and, in my opinion, beautiful is a densely packed concrete jungle. The view you get from standing in the middle of Times Square is truly one for one, whereas natural views are still beautiful, but much, much more common. Okay, first things first, you're comparing apples to oranges, and even with that in mind, Mount Fuji is going to give you a far more spectacular view than the Tokyo Tower in my opinion. I'm not saying that there aren't fantastic views to be had on top of some magnificent skyscrapers, but once you've visited all the notable ones, you've seen the best there is, and it's going to take a lot more digging to find unique structures to explore. I have zero problems with people enjoying architecture or exploring the big city. However, when you're saying that there are more unique skylines than natural beauties in the world, I'm sorry, but how many hours of League have you clocked in? Are you fucking kidding me? Anyone with a functioning tan line can tell you that the Hawaiian mountains aren't easily replaceable. Imagine thinking a nice city park could easily replace an Appalachian state park. Imagine thinking a sunset in New York is the same as seeing one in LA. Imagine someone saying unironically that if you see one beach, you've seen them all. I'm sorry, but you're dead wrong. Not a single generic densely packed concrete jungle from any city will even come close to the beauty of Glacier National Park. It's irreplaceable. The human race couldn't recreate it in a billion years. That's why it's so profound and worth visiting. I really hope this post was worth all the Reddit karma, dude, because holy shit, this is embarrassing. Concrete jungles are beautiful and rare. What a crock of shit. Well, that was a nice short but sweet video. Hopefully I don't have to make a sequel in the near future, although we may have to do a rain check on if Redditors shower. But anyway, I've held you guys hostage long enough, and I think it's time to wrap up this video. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, this is Wubba Bubba, signing off again.